This is Computer Science 1213 Intro to Computing. I'm Chris Rule, and this is the video on the programming assignment 3.7 on page 136. It has to do with male and female person of your choosing, added to the world, build a program where your people dance the waltz or similar dance, where their movements are synchronized. Optionally, have your story play music while your people dance. So here's a couple of characters on the screen. I want to play it just so you see how it goes. There's some conversation, and then they begin to dance in a synchronized fashion. Not anything very fancy, not a lot of movements. They go around this square 2 times, and that's the end of the program. So that would qualify when you do it. Now, one thing you need to notice here is we're dealing with a mirror image. So one person is a mirror image of the other person. So this is this person's right arm, and this is this person's left arm. This is this person's right leg. This is this person's left leg. And so you have to keep that in mind when you do a synchronized movement. What will be the right side for one person will be the left side for the other person. So let's look at the code. Because it's a mirror image, you do not have to put your method under person. You can just keep it all in the same level. These are all in the scene area. So here's the initial program, and I only delayed it so that I'd have time to pause it before they got started. So you don't need the delay statement. Here's the conversation part. And then they do the routine called the waltz twice. Here's the method called waltz. And it calls a forward movement, a left movement, a backward movement, and a right movement. So let's look at the forward movement. We move together. We move one person's right hip and the other person's left hip the same amount. One of them backward, one of them forward. They have to be opposite because it's a mirror image, because they're on opposite sides. And they do that together. And then they turn when it says they turn their hip in the video you saw, that was the leg moving up or moving down. That's what that backward and forward motion will do. And it shows it a certain amount. Then they move. One moves forward, one moves backward, depending on how they're positioned in the scene. 1.0. And they do all these things, the hip movements and the moving together. And that's the forward routine. So you have to change it from left hip to right hip and right hip to left hip. You have to change it from forward to backward to forward on the turns and the moves. And then you keep your numbers the same as they go around. And that should be enough for you to do this. If you want to do some extra movement, that's fine. Also, if you add sound, and there's a play audio option, but you have to import the audio to use it from YouTube or somewhere else. I can check that when I grade them if you want extra credit. And let me show you the rubric on this particular assignment. This first part is the actual text from the assignment. Then we have the rubric. Have at least one male and one female person. You can have more than that if you want. The question calls for male and female persons. That could just be 2 or it could be more than 2. They have to dance. And you saw the rudimentary way they danced in my program. And you can do something better than that if you prefer, but at least that much. The people's movements when they're dancing have to be synchronized. So that's significant points. And then bonus points if you have the program play music while they dance. So that's the rubric that I'll go by when I grade the program. And that concludes the video for this particular programming assignment.